Everybody wants abs. But the problem is that most people are training their core with endless crunches, planks until you're bored out of your mind, maybe some sit-ups, and then you wonder why your midsection still looks soft and your lower back gives out every time you try to lift something heavy. Your core isn't just the front of your stomach, it's a cylinder of muscle that wraps around your entire torso, and it has multiple functions: flexion, anti-extension, anti-rotation, stability. If you're only training one of those, you're leaving a lot on the table. I'm going to show you 5 of my favorite exercises that not only build a core that looks good, but one that actually performs, protects your spine, transfers power, and holds up under load. The bulletproof core. Let's get into it. Starting with cable crunches. This is your loaded spinal flexion movement. Here's why cables beat regular crunches. There's constant tension throughout the entire range of motion. At the bottom, you're contracted, and at the top, you're fully stretched, and the cable is pulling against you the whole time. The mistake most people make is turning this into a hip hinge. They bow forward and use their hip flexors to pull the weight down. That's more of a prayer and not a crunch. What you want is your hips locked in place, rib cage pulling down toward your pelvis. Think about shortening the distance between your sternum and your belly button. That's spinal flexion, and that's what works the abs. Kneel far enough from the cable that you get a full stretch at the top. Control the eccentric, pause at the contraction, and add weight over time. This is how you build thick, dense abs. Moving on to number 2, leg raises. The go-to for the lower portion of the abs, but most people butcher these too. The rectus abdominis is one muscle. There's no upper and lower technically, but the lower fibers work harder when you're bringing your pelvis toward your rib cage from below rather than the other way around. That's why leg raises feel different to crunches. Now here's the key. If you're just lifting your legs, you're working hip flexors. To actually hit the abs, you need to curl your pelvis up at the top. Think about tucking your tailbone under and rolling your hips toward your chest. That posterior pelvic tilt is what creates the abdominal contraction. If you can't do full leg raises yet, start with knee raises. Same concept, drive the knees up, then curl the pelvis. And hanging is better than lying because the range of motion is longer and there's no floor cutting the movement short at the bottom. Dragon flags. You've seen Rocky do them, you've seen Bruce Lee do them. They look impressive for a reason. This is S tier. This is an anti-extension movement. Your abs aren't shortening like in a crunch. They're fighting to prevent your spine from extending as gravity tries to pull your body down. Isometric tension under stretch. It's brutal and it works. You're lying on a bench, gripping behind your head and lowering your entire body. Legs straight, hips off the bench as one rigid unit. The only thing touching is your upper back and shoulders. Your core has to create enough tension to keep your lower back from arching and collapsing toward the bench. The eccentric is the most difficult part. Lower yourself as slowly as you can. Fight gravity every inch of the way and stop before your lower back loses position. If your back arches, you've gone too far. If you can't do a full one yet, tuck your knees. If it is still too hard, do negatives only. Jump to the top and lower down slow. Build the strength over time. This exercise will humble you. Ab wheel rollouts, another bang for buck exercise. It's the same principle, anti-extension. You're resisting spinal extension as the wheel rolls away from you and your body lengthens out. The further you roll, the longer the lever arm. The more your abs have to work to keep your spine neutral. And here's what makes it special, the stretch position under load. At full extension, your abs are lengthened and fighting for their life. We know from research that training muscles in a stretched position produces more hypertrophy. This is one of the only ab exercises that does that effectively. Start from your knees, roll out as far as you can control without your lower back dipping. Pause, pull back using your abs, not your hip flexors. Once you can do 10 to 12 clean reps from your knees, you can progress to standing rollouts. Good luck on this, it's elite level. The ab wheel costs next to nothing, and it's one of the most effective tools you'll ever use. Moving on to the final exercise, the Pallof press. This one flies under the radar, and honestly, I haven't seen anybody do this, ever. But it fills a gap most people don't even know they have. Everything else on this list trains flexion or anti-extension. The Pallof press trains anti-rotation. You're standing perpendicular to a cable, holding the handle at your chest and pressing straight out. The cable is trying to twist you toward the machine. Your core's job is to resist that rotation and stay completely square. This is functional core strength. When you throw a punch, swing a bat, rotate in any athletic movement, your core has to transfer force without energy leaking through your midsection. And the Pallof press builds on that stability. The further you press, the longer the lever arm. the harder it gets. Hold the end position for a beat. Don't let your hips or shoulders rotate even a millimeter. That's the whole point. Lightweight, high tension, full control. Do both sides, and well, this is the missing piece in most people's core training. And that's the bulletproof core. Weighted cable crunches for loaded flexion, hanging leg raises to work from bottom up, dragon flags and ab wheel rollouts for anti-extension under load, and the Pallof press for anti-rotation and stability. 5 exercises, every function covered. And the beautiful thing about these exercises is that you can make them more challenging as you progress over time. For example, the hanging leg raises, when you're doing pull-ups, you can keep your legs raised, constant isometric tension throughout. The dragon flags, you can lower yourself in the stretch position, do some leg flutters, and then bring yourself back up. The Pallof press, you can add a rotational movement there. You start like this, rotate, bring it back, extend your arms forward, and then pull them back in. Count that as 1 rep. So for me personally, I do core specific exercises like this 2 to 3 times per week. I do a circuit of 3 of these exercises, 1 for each function, 3 rounds, minimal rest in between, and that pretty much covers it, more than enough. Train these with intent, progress over time, and you will not only build a core that looks good, but that helps you perform in all the other movements you're doing. But if you want this core to show, then you absolutely need to dial in the rest of your training, but more importantly, your nutrition and your recovery, which I go over in all the protocols in the link in the description below. So if you're interested, check that out. And if this video helped you out, click like and subscribe. And if you already have, I appreciate every single one of you. Send this over to your gym buddy, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.